Hey guys, what's up, how's it going? My name is Rob and welcome back for another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing an end of the month big huge portfolio update. So we're going to be doing a deep dive inside my entire stock portfolio on Wealthsimple trades. So I'm going to show you guys, we'll start off with the portfolio update. I'll show you guys how my stocks have been doing. We'll do a recap of the month as well as the past couple weeks and our all-time returns. We'll jump in. I'll show you guys what stocks I bought today as well as what stocks I bought for the entire month. I'll show you guys some of the dividend payments, and then I'll show you guys the total return of all of our stocks, and I'll talk about some of the dividend increases and some other stuff as well. So we're going to be doing a big deep dive inside our portfolio. It's going to be a bit of a long video, so just stay tuned for that. And like usual, if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to do me a big favor and give the video a big thumbs up, smash the like button. And if you guys want to see these videos and be notified of when I publish these videos on a regular basis, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you guys want to see my entire stock portfolio completely for free, be sure to check out Blossom. There's a link to Blossom Social in the description of this video. You guys can support the channel by signing up. And if you guys want to check out my portfolio, see my buys in real time, see what stocks I hold, everything is on there free for you guys to check out. So definitely check that out. Link in the description of the video for Blossom. Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Welcome back. We're going to be doing another big portfolio update today. This is going to be a bit of a long video since I'm doing a deep dive inside my portfolio. So grab yourself a drink as you guys watch this because it's going to be a bit of a long one. We'll start off with doing the portfolio update. I'll show you guys my portfolio, then we'll jump inside and I'll give you guys a bird's eye view of our entire portfolio. We'll track everything. I'll show you guys how my stocks have been doing. I'll show you guys the dividends. I'll show you guys the total returns. We got everything in here. It's going to be a very thorough video, so hope you guys like it there. So the first thing we're going to cover is the total value of our portfolio on Wealthsimple Trade. This is only two of my portfolios, and we'll cover the other ones just as soon as we finish this one. So we have $117, about $118. It is Tuesday at the time of doing this video. You guys might see this video on Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. So kind of keep that in mind. But I mean, not much should really change. Should be more or less the same. Well, first thing we're going to cover is the TFSA, which is about $98,000. This is my main focus for now. Max up the TFSA and then probably work on the fiance's TFSA, and then I highly doubt it we'll max that out for the year. We're gonna be pretty busy with that, and then eventually when it gets to that point, maybe look at RSPs or something like that. So we've got a lot of work to do, but it's gonna take us a long time to get there, so it's not that big of a deal. So the 1 day return for the TFSA is sitting at 0. The 1 week return is -1. So and most of this is because we hold more US stocks inside of our TFSA, and I think the US market took a bit of a dip over the past week or so. So I think that's what that's from. 1 month return is about 0, so sitting pretty neutral. 3 month return is about 0 too. So, you know, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but everything's kind of balancing out in the end. 1 year return for the TFSA is down -2% still, but all-time return is up 10%. So once again, just having the money in the market definitely works in your favor, and I'm a big fan of just putting money in the market because you never know when things are going to go up and down, and while the market's doing its thing, you can collect those dividends and reinvest them and get that growth. The next account we're going to talk about is going to be the personal account. So this is a much more Canadian focused account, so it's going to be a little bit different from the TFSA. The 1 day return is going to be about 0%. 1 week return is -2. Since I think the Canadian stocks over the past couple of days actually have dipped. But if we look over the 1 month return and the 3 month return, we see a little bit of an increase here. And I think that's because Canadian stocks did a little bit better at the start of the year. But who knows what's going to happen? We have a long ways to go. 1 year return is down -3%, but all time is up 3%. So our Canadian stocks are just regularly doing their thing. And this is a very, very dividend focused account since it was a personal account. But I am looking to perhaps maybe in the next little bit pull money from the personal account and either max out my TFSA or even put some of it in my fiance's TFSA. Once we kind of have a handle, we'll probably wait till tax season and stuff like that. And once our taxes are good and all that stuff's figured out, maybe we'll do that if we have extra unused TFSA room, which we obviously will. But we'll kind of see how things go from there. And if we jump into the Track My Dividends, which is a portfolio tracker, we can see everything, all my accounts that I have. We can do a quick bird's eye overview. So our total net worth is $130,000. Portfolio yield is about 3.58%, and this is our entire portfolios. Yield to cost is about 3.65%, and annual income is $4,661, which is about $300 to $400 or so per month, give or take. Something like that. The other different accounts we have that I haven't covered is the first one is the ESSOP with my work. So that's Loblaws. This is one of the growth Canadian companies that I have. And the cool thing about this is if you guys remember, about halfway through last year, I first started this account and it's been steadily growing. It kind of every paycheck I get, they take a small percentage. My employer matches it. And then I get a nice return here, and it's kind of set up to be auto. It kind of just auto works in the background, so you don't have to think about it. And we can just see it grow where now it's about $700, $800. So, it's doing its thing, it's growing, and we've seen the income increase, even though it's only $10, obviously. But I remember like when I first started, it was like $1, and then it went to $2, and it went to $5. So this is how a new account typically would work. And if you guys have these kind of programs, definitely take advantage of them, because they definitely make a big difference, and you're leaving money on the table, right? So you might as well take advantage of them. And if you work for a company that has a good stock, like a good quality company, that's also icing on the cake there. So here's the personal account we already covered. We'll look at my fiance's TFSA, which is about $11,000 to $12,000. Her account is pretty simple. It's basically my accounts, but minus the individual stocks. She just has ETFs. So pretty simple approach there. And once again, all of our accounts together equal that $130,000. So that's a bird's eye picture, a overall view of our accounts. The next thing we're going to do is talk about the dividends. We'll jump inside the dividend payments, and I'll show you guys what stocks I'm kind of been buying for this week. So when I first recorded this video, unfortunately my microphone for some reason didn't record, so I actually had about $150 inside my account, and I bought a couple stocks today. But I'll give you guys a quick little recap, because obviously I can't really show you that, but I will show you guys my buys. I'll cover my buys for the month, and I'll show you guys what stocks I bought today. So basically what I talked about was how I've been kind of dripping into AQN. I held AQN before the big dip, and I'm kind of like, I still think it's a good quality company, but I understand there's a little bit of risk with it. So I'm kind of been dollar cost averaging. It's kind of been working in my favor, because AQN has kind of jumped up a little bit. So who knows what's going to happen over the long term, but it's a nice little way to kind of get some of your losses back by dollar cost averaging, especially when the stock has dropped so much. The other stocks I kind of focused on for this month is ATD. I bought some ATD. There has been some news about them expanding their company once again. Big thing why I like this company, why I think it's one of the best growth stocks, is because they're really good at expanding and growing their company, and that's why I think they've been doing so well. So I love ATD, obviously a great stock. But the other big stock I've been focused on for this month is CNR. And the main reason is because I want to kind of expand some of my Canadian growth stocks, like the dividend growth stocks. So that would be like Loblaws I have, ATD would be a big one, and then CNR. These are the three that I kind of want to focus in terms of Canadian growth. Since I had a lot of dividend stocks, I got a lot of passive income stocks, I got a lot of US market growth stocks, but I don't have a lot of Canadian ones. So I kind of wanted to build a little bit of position here, and CNR was one of my lowest positions, so I wanted to kind of build it up a little bit. And then last but not least, the other stocks I've been focusing on is the covered calls. So HYLD, HDIV, trying to bring up some of that passive yield. I kind of want to hit it about like maybe 15 to 20% of the portfolio. I'm not sure, but kind of why I figured that out, I've just been slowly buying them. And stocks like HYLD right now got hit pretty hard because the US market got hit, and it still hasn't recovered yet. So it's presenting a nice little yield there. So I'm kind of focusing on HYLD and this side, the TFSA, and then maybe depending on things, I might put HDIV in the personal account, since there is a lot of eligible dividends, which is an important thing. Covered call ETFs actually make a lot of income from dividends, depending on what it is. You have to kind of look at the tax sheets, but HDIV has a lot of eligible dividends, so it makes sense to maybe put in a personal account. I'm not too sure about that, but that's kind of the plan I'm going with. But for right now, I'm focusing on HYLD as well as some of the Canadian growth stocks, and dollar cost averaging into AQN. And because I like to be fully transparent on this channel, I like to show you guys everything. Here's my actually buys for the month of February. I'm not going to go through these, but you guys can see I've just been trickling any money I have, any free cash. A lot of times it's just dollar cost averaging. If you guys want to see my buys in real time, you guys want to see my entire portfolio, you guys want to see it 24 hours a day and kind of do a deep dive yourself, check out the link to Blossom in the description of this video. You guys can download Blossom and see everything on there. It's completely free for you guys to access, 100% transparency. If you guys want to support the channel, use my link in the description of this video. You guys can sign up, look me up on there, and you guys can see everything in there. But I just want to kind of bring that up there. But again, for transparency's sake, here's all my buys for the month of February, and we'll do a quick little recap on the dividend income as well. So here's the dividend income for February. Not too much here. It's actually kind of a lower month. I'm expecting March to be a bit of a bigger month, but we have our usual stocks here, some individual ones. Our big payments from our ETFs, of course, like VDY, HYLD, and then HDIV. And other than that, there wasn't a lot of dividend payments for the month of February. But for our entire accounts together, I've been tracking them on a spreadsheet. I like to track dividends because I can quantify it. I can see the growth regardless of what the markets are doing. I can see things growing, and I can feel good about that. I can track it. I can see the success. That's important things. Whenever you guys have goals or you're working towards things, if you can find metrics to track, it's going to keep you motivated, and you can see the progress over time, because it's easy to lose track of things if you don't track them. And that's why I love spreadsheets. Even just a simple ugly one like this, you can see the growth, right? So here's the months here. We're on month number 38. Here's both of our portfolios together. So my portfolio is right here. The $225 in dividends is my portfolio, and the $27 is my fiance's portfolio. And then added together, we make $252. January was a pretty big month for us for $500. A lot of dividends and other individual stocks paying dividends. And then I think March is going to be a big month as well, because we got our ETFs, or quarterly ETFs, as well as some individual stocks as well. So I think March, probably will be a decent month, maybe like 500. Maybe we'll set a new record. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the dividends for February. And speaking of which, we'll do a quick little preview, and we'll take a peek at some of the stocks that might be paying dividends, or are paying dividends, I should say, for the month of March. So here's a cool feature of track your dividends. You can actually see the upcoming dividends, and it's not 100% accurate, so just kind of keep that in mind. And I don't think it also shows 100% accuracy the actual number of dividends, because like it has to wait for companies to declare their dividends, and sometimes things change if there's dividend increases, etc. So just kind of understand this, but we can get a bird's eye view of like some of the different companies that are paying dividends. So in March, it's going to be a pretty big month, because we have my portfolio as well as my fiance's portfolio paying some pretty big dividends. But we have stocks like ATD, CNR, Canadian Tire, Fortis, HDIV, HYLD, MFC, so Manulife, POW, Severia Corp, and then our two big ETFs. So March is looking like a pretty good month. And once again, if you guys want to see all my stocks, check out the link to Blossom. But here's just a quick little overview of some of the dividends. So I think March is going to be a pretty fun month, and we'll have lots of money to kind of put back inside the portfolio and reinvest the dividends for compounding growth. All right, so one big aspect of investing that I'm a big fan of, especially when it comes to dividend investing, is dividend increases. So I'm a big fan of dividend history. I did do a video a couple weeks ago, I think actually at the start of the month, kind of covering some of the dividend increases that happened for the year of 2023 so far. And in this video, I'm just going to give an update on some of the dividend increases, I guess, that happened for this month. I'm just going to cover the stocks that actually increased their dividends and we're getting a payout for this month. But if you guys want to kind of take a peek, you can go ahead over to dividend history and see some of the stocks here. Some of them are pretty common ones. Some interesting things that we've seen here is actually Intel had a huge dividend decrease of 66%. I know it's a struggling stock right now, but it just kind of goes to show you that sometimes, you know, holding individual companies can always come at a bit of a risk, which is why I'm a big fan of holding ETFs. We've seen it with Intel, AQN, and even a few other ones. You know, there's always that risk. So that's why I'm a big fan of ETFs. But one of the big things I did notice for this month that we did get a dividend increase was from our covered calls, which is kind of surprising, right? So HDIV is the one we've seen an increase. It's the one I talked about earlier inside the video. It's got a current yield of about 9.7%, lots of Canadian stocks. And we've seen an 8% increase for our payment from for February, which was actually very surprising, but very, very nice. So that's the only dividend payment that we got in terms of an increase for the actual payment itself. But in March, I know we do have quite a bit of dividend increases coming through. So I'll do a recap on those probably sometime towards the end of March as well. And one thing I did want to talk about really quick before we go towards the total return of all my individual stocks for the video is I want to talk about deposits and show you guys how much I actually put inside my account for the month of February. So once again, February is a pretty big month for us. We had lots of spare cash. So I've been once again focusing on really maxing out the TFSA. Now, interesting thing, I haven't told you guys yet, but we do have a trip planned for the next couple months. It's going to be a big trip for us. It's going to be something we haven't done for a while, and I'll show you guys some different things I'm doing with that later on as time goes on. But we will have a little bit less income to spend in March and April. And of course, there's tax season as well. So we have lots of money to put in right now, invest right now, and deposit. But, you know, over the next couple months, things might change a little bit. So, you know, I added them all up for the month of February, and we got a total of about $1,500 I put inside my TFSA. And if we add on the dividends, that's about $2,000 or so that we put inside our account. So not too shabby for the month, right? But I am focusing really hard on saving the money now and putting it in, because I do know over the next couple months it'll be a little bit less. But the cool thing is we always get our dividends, right? We always have those dividends coming in, unless something crazy happens, we'll have those dividends, they'll get reinvested. Put it back inside the TFSA, you know, keep compounding and growing. So once again, $1,500 in deposits, then that $500 from dividends, or I guess $200 in dividends for this month, is about $1,700. So it's you know, it adds up and it keeps growing. So I just want to give you guys an update on the deposits, just to be fully transparent on how I'm growing my portfolio. And the last thing we're going to be focused on, and when it comes to the stock portfolio in today's video, is going to be the total return of all my stocks. So this is a big thing. Obviously, it matters the most. And when it comes to dividend stocks, covered calls, growth stocks, you kind of look at the overall return, because all these different types of stocks inside our portfolios are doing different things, right? They're doing different things, and they're all contributing together to have the overall growth of the portfolio. And people don't really think about when it comes to distributions or dividends, When you take that money, you put it back into the same stock you bought, different stocks. Everything helps the portfolio to grow together. So it's hard to really show it in terms of each individual stock. Sometimes you can get an idea of how individual stocks perform, but like if you have a high yield stock and you're taking some of that yield to put into other companies, and those companies perform well, or more growth oriented, or whatever it is you're doing kind of thing, I think looking at the overall portfolio in terms of growth is an important thing, but it's also important to look at individual stocks to see the way they perform as well. But one of the best metrics to see how a stock is actually performing is the total return. So once again, we'll zoom in here really quickly so you guys can see here. I talk about this in all my videos. We have the stock tickers on the left side, we have the revenue, and then the total gain in a dollar amount, and then the actual percentage here. So total gain is going to be the percentage here, total gain dollar amount here, and then distributions for revenue. So we can go through all my individual stocks here. So VFE, obviously 1.44%, VDY 18% total return, HYLD 9%, negative 9%, TD 22%, ATD, some of my best performing stocks, TD and ATD 20 up in the high 20s. AQN is negative 28, actually seeing a bit of an increase. It was, I think, 30%, 33%, but it has been increasing. And again, that's the dollar cost averaging coming into play there. TELUS plus 2%, CNR plus 2, HDIV 1.94. Manulife around 20%, Fortis 3, POW sitting at about neutral or so, Spheria Corp 12%, CNQ 14, and then Canadian Tire 6. And keep in mind, once again, like the market last year did take a big drop, so a lot of these stocks obviously have dropped quite a bit, especially in terms of growth, but we do have those dividends coming in, and when the market recovers, when you see that recovery happen, we'll see a nice jump up. So even though there hasn't been a lot of recovery, in a sense, our stocks still have been growing. It's been really, really nice. So once again, total return for all the individual stocks. Hope you guys like this. And if you guys, a lot of people ask me which tool I use to show this. It's actually Wealthsimple. That's the tool I use to show this, to kind of get this. And the nice thing about this tool is I don't have to manually add everything. You just hook it up to Wealthsimple, you connect it, and it's good to go. So that's why I like doing this. It's super easy to use to show you guys the total return, which is very important for your stock portfolio. Alright guys, so we're approaching the end of the video now. I just wanted to do a quick little recap on some things that have been going on. So I want to talk about this for a little while because I want to show you guys. So I got this photo album that I bought with our dividends income. It was about $20 for the album I bought. And the reason why I bought it is because last year I didn't really talk too much about this, but I wanted to kind of be in a position where I'd be a little more comfortable. And now I feel like I'm comfortable to talk about this. So a lot of the older people who watch this channel, well, I shouldn't say older, but the people who've been around for a while, you guys know that I actually had 2 cats, right? Like you probably see Cooper a lot. You might even see him in today's video. I'm not too sure if he's around. White little orange guy, always running around, jumping around and stuff. So Cooper's always there. But back in the day, we had a cat called Chloe, and Chloe was our older cat. She was 15 years old. Now, she passed away last year towards the end of the year. She had a few health problems, but she was fairly healthy. She was pretty good. She had a great life until, like, I'd say the very end. The last year or so was a little rough. But the good news is, even towards the last little bit, she was pretty good. So what ended up happening is she ended up dying of cancer. We found out she had stomach cancer. What happened is she was having some kidney problems for the past couple years or so. We kind of fixed those issues, or at least we made them better. She felt pretty good, but towards I'd say the last couple months of her life, we've seen a little bit of a decline, and then there's a couple days where she wasn't really eating, she wasn't really doing too much, and we knew something was going on, and we kind of had an idea that things weren't too good. So she really wasn't feeling good. We took her to the vet. The vet kind of did some tests. They, I think they did like a scan or something like that, and they found a lot of cancer in her belly, and her belly was pretty inflamed too, so we kind of had a good idea. So anyways, they gave us some meds. We took some meds. We had her for the weekend, and then the next day we took her in and we put her down. So that was a bit of a process. But the good news is, even though it wasn't fun at the time, she had a great life. And the last couple days we had in her were actually pretty good. Like the meds worked pretty good. She wasn't quite herself, but the weather was nice. We got to take her outside. We got to do stuff with her, and it was a very, very nice time. But one of the big things I wanted to do was actually take some photos and keep them from memory, because like as you get older, you tend to lose sight of things. And a lot of these pictures that I'm going to show you guys, a photo album as I kind of talk about this and go through this. A lot of these pictures are older pictures from I took way back in the day, and I'm thankful I took them. And here's another tip: if you guys have photos that you have, be sure to back them up on a regular basis. A lot of these photos are from like 2012 and 2013 and 2014. Because I took them a lot back in the day, and I backed them up on my computer. And if I didn't have those photos, I wouldn't have had a lot of photos of her. So, I wanted to kind of take these. I wanted to print them off. I wanted to put them into something special. The photos were about $20 or so. I got them on Walmart. I went online. I basically I put them on a computer, you send them, and then they ship you the photos. It was about $20 for the photos. I can't remember how many I got. It was like 50, 60, 70 or something like that. Then the scrapbook itself was about $20. So I wanted to put some money towards that. And the other thing I want to mention really quickly is while going through this whole thing with her, the nice thing to have with like having a stock portfolio and having some dividend income coming in is it helps you with some of those emergency situations. Like paying for vet bills and all that wasn't really that big of a deal because we had some money coming in, so we could always kind of like feel good about things and not have to worry about financials, because that's probably like the worst thing to worry about when you're going through like an emergency or just dealing with things, is worrying about money and stuff like that. So having some income coming in, having some money saved up, even having in like an emergency fund, all these things can help you out in those situations. So it was very nice to kind of have that, even though it was a hard situation at the time. Kind of looking back, I really liked the time I spent with her, and I want to do something special so we could remember her. So anyways, I just want to share that with you guys because I know a lot of you older folks who watch the channel, you might maybe you've seen her before. I know some of the original people would see her. I know a lot of people know about Cooper, but she was really special to me, and she was my girl, and she was with me for about 11, 12 years of my life. She was my first real pet. So when she passed away, it was it's hard, but like it needed to happen, and we accepted it, and we're much better now. So, and we got Cooper to kind of keep us company and whatnot. So anyways, just a quick little update on that. I figured you guys might want to know about that, and you guys might enjoy that. But anyways, I'm going to end the video here because it's getting a little bit on the long side. So like usual, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Take care, and I'll see you guys later.